Welcome to history class 10th. Students, in recent video we have discussed about the part of Europe which were under the different empires. Now we will discuss about aristocracy and the new middle class. Aristocracy and the new middle class. Aristocrats, those people who were dominant, or we can say those who had relation with their kings and who owned the large estates and huge property. Socially and politically, a landed aristocracy was the dominant class in the continent. In Europe, it was dominant. The members of this class were united by a common way of life, means they follow the same tradition, and that cut across the regional divisions, whether they were belong to which caste and class, but they were aristocrats. That was why they were related to each other with this bond. They owned estates in the countryside and also townhouses in the towns. Means they have large areas for cultivation, that is called estates in the countryside and townhouses in the town. They spoke French language for the purpose of diplomacy and in high society, because French was the symbol of high social order. Their families were often connected by ties of marriages. So it means they did not know about the poverty. They had their relation with their rich families, marriages in the rich families, and ties with the rich families. So they didn't know about the. So this powerful aristocracy was, however, numerically a small group. A majority of the population was made up of peasantry. About 90% were people in Europe were peasants. To the west, the bulk of the land was formed by tenants and small owners, while in Eastern and Central Europe, the pattern of landholding was characterized by vast estates cultivated by serfs. So, student, all of you know that in the medieval era in France or in Europe, the land was controlled by feudals. In Central Europe, Eastern Europe, the land holding was a vast estate cultivated by serf, because feudal appointed the serfs. Serf used to cultivate land and pay the taxes, and on the other hand, they had also to work on the fields of the landholders or landlord, or we can say feudal lord. So in this way they worked as serfs. In Western and part of Central Europe, the growth of industrial production and trade meant the growth of towns and emergence of commercial class, whose existence was based on the production for the market. Now, industrial revolution was started in England. All of you know industrialization began in England at first. So, due to industrial revolution in Central and Western Europe, there was a growth of a new class, that was a middle class, who were dependent on production. They sell and purchase the products and made profit, and slowly and gradually, within a few years, they became prosperous. The second half of the 18th century, but in France and part of Germany, the industrialization states in occurred only during the 19th century. Industrialization came in Europe in 18th century, and France in German it came in 19th century. It wake a new social group came into being, a working class population and middle class made up of industrialists, businessmen, professionals. All these were against the aristocratic privileges. So, in Central and Eastern Europe, these groups were smaller in number till late 19th century. till there was no industrial revolution. It was among us the educated liberal middle class that idea of national unity following the abolition of aristocracy privileges gained popularity. They became powerful and they started demanding the abolition of aristocratic privileges and clerical privileges. So students, in this manner they demanded for their social rights. Next is, what did liberal nationalism stand for? Liberal nationalism. So student, we will do it in a notes form. So liberalism stood for the freedom. The ideology of liberalism was the main ideology of 19th century Europe. Term liberalism derived from the liber, Latin word liber, which means free. Liberals or middle class, we can say, liberals who were the middle class. They stood for freedom for individual and equality of all before law. It emphasizes the government by consent. Consent means government should be elected and everybody should be equal in the eyes of law. After French Revolution, liberalism had stood for end of aristocracy and clerical privileges, and there should be a constitution, representative government through parliament. So they demanded for this kind of system where no privilege on the basis of birth or clerical privileges or autocratic privileges, and they also demanded for constitution and government by consent or representative government. 19th century liberal also stressed the inviolability of private property because government wanted to violate the property of the individuals, and it was given to the feudal lords. They were not in favor of this system, but on the other hand they were not in favor of universal suffrage. They did not stood for universal suffrage. Who? The liberals did not stood for universal suffrage. Only in France, after French Revolution, only the citizen who were property owning men, they were allowed to cast vote. Men without property and women were not allowed to vote. Only a brief period of the Jacobin club's government, the adults males enjoyed freedom of vote. But after that, Napoleon also destroyed this right, or we can say Napoleonic code went back to limited suffrage and reduced the women to the status of minor subject to authority of fathers and husbands. Throughout the 19th century and the early 20th century, women and non-property men organized opposition movement demanding equal rights. So these equal rights were provided by the democratic government in the 20th century for most of the Europe and the other parts of the world. In the economic sphere, if we discuss about the liberalism in economic sphere, they stood for freedom of market and abolition of state imposed tax or restriction for goods movement of goods and capitals. During 19th century, there was a strong demand for emergence of middle class. Middle class demanded for abolition of taxes. For example, German-speaking region in the first half of the 19th century, where Napoleon administration measure had created out 39 countless small principalities, a confederation of 39 states. Student, you will amazed to know that there were 39 states of German confederacies which were owned by small chiefs, and each had its own currency. So any person who was taking his product from Hamburg to Nuremberg in 1833, he had to pass through 11 custom barriers, and each custom barrier had 5% of tax. It means he had to pay a lot of amount in taxes and duties. So duties were often levied according to the weights and measure of the goods. There was one major problem also in length measuring. That was, there was a unit of measuring cloth, that is LA. LA stood for different lengths. In Frankfurt it was 54.7, in Mainz it was 55.1, Nuremberg 65.6, and Friedberg it is 53.5. So this was a different measurements for LA in different region of the Europe. So to cope up these problems, such conditions were viewed as obstacle to economic exchange and growth by the new commercial class, who argued for the creation of unified economic territory allowing the unhindered movement of goods and capital. So to cope up this problem, like LA and different currencies, on in 1834 a custom union which was named Zollverein was formed by the initiative of Prussia and joined by different states of Germans. It abolished the tariff barrier and reduced the currencies from 30 to 2. There were more than 30 currencies, but these were reduced to 2. The creation of network of railway further stimulated the mobility, harnessing economic interest to national unification. People of Europe now they could move their goods and capital from one place to another place due to a greater, well-established network of railway. The way of economic nationalism strengthened the wider nationalist sentiment growing the time. So this is the video of this chapter, students. You can read and answer the question what the liberal nationalist stood for. So next topic we will do is new conservatism after 1815. We will discuss it in next video. Thank you.